Hey everybody, welcome to an episode of the Board Boys Podcast Special Edition. This is going to be a full-fledged bonus episode. I'm your board boy Rob, along here with...
Board boy Beau.
So Beau, we just got back from a convention. This was probably the biggest convention you've been to.
It was BGG Spring, and we had a lot of fun.
Where'd we go?
Dallas, Texas.
We had to go to Dallas, huh?
Yep.
And that was your first time in Dallas?
Yep.
So let's talk about what we did on the way down there. Where'd we stop right before we went to the convention center?
Oh, yeah, so we stopped at Buc-ee's.
What'd you think about Buc-ee's?
It was fun. The bathrooms are giant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get anything cool from Buc-ee's? Did we get some snacks?
Yeah.
What kind of things did you get?
I got, like, sour gummies. I got, I got graham crackers. I also... we got a Buc-ee's towel, a Buc-ee's shirt, a Buc-ee's hat.
You're ready for summer.
And a couple of Buc-ee's pool toys.
Yeah, you're ready for summer in the pool, yeah. Buc-ee style, right?
Yeah.
Well, what did you think? What were you expecting when we went to BGGCon down there? What were you expecting it to be like? Because you've been to Cardboard Caucus or Des Moines Game Con is now that it's called.
I expected it to be smaller.
Yeah, was it bigger than you thought?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got there Wednesday afternoon, and then we were there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we left early on Sunday. But that was plenty of time for some games. Should we talk about some games we played?
Yep.
I'm just going to look through my list here. We started off playing a game called Cosmoctopus. And you and Mom were real tired when we got there, right?
Yes, we were so tired that we took a nap in the room after Cosmoctopus. We actually shortened Cosmoctopus to go take a nap.
Yeah, you ended up winning in our shortened game, but it was, I don't know, I get it. I feel like the game was maybe longer than it should be.
Yeah.
It had some interesting combos in there. You picked it out because you just saw the octopus pieces on the cover, and that kind of drew you in.
Yeah.
But you weren't really into that one too much, were you?
No, it wasn't that good.
Yeah, and then while they were taking a nap, I played some Everdell Farshore, which I talked about on maybe an upcoming podcast. But long story short, I like Farshore better than Everdell because it's got a cool little boat scoring mechanism, and it just simplifies some things. Dislikes, I think it's overpriced. So there you go. On our Ezra and Nehemiah episode, I go into more in depth on those things as well.
You know what I think?
But I liked it so much that I played it twice because I taught it to your mom and Dave and Melissa as well.
Oh yeah, but that was farther in.
That's true.
In. So let's keep going in the order.
Okay. We then played some Kabuto Sumo, which is one of your favorites.
I played as a scorpion, I think.
Yeah, and we played with the newer expansion with all the items and stuff, right?
Yeah, and there's gonna be a new one.
Yeah, you like the items?
Yes.
Yeah. You can kind of win with some different ways with those. Like, I liked the one we played with the table. Did you knock the table off the table or something to win?
Yes.
And then I won this one because if you could get your little torch in the middle of the table, like the middle circle X thing, you win.
But you didn't actually get it on the middle of the X.
Oh, I did.
No, you didn't. You touched like the corner of the X.
Lies.
Cheater.
Okay, I think up next, I'm going to say this is your number one game, if I were to guess, of the con. And this is MLEM Space Agency.
It was super fun. You're sending cats to space, and it's a push your luck game. You have to trust the pilot. Different cats do different things, and you're trying to put them on the spaceship. There's like a cat that even if you explode, you can still eject. And there's certain dice that you have to roll, and it's really fun.
Yeah, you were all about it. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play it again that weekend because we went to go check it out one more time, and we had just missed it. And this was right before we were leaving.
Stay in order.
I know, but we had just missed it, and someone had it checked out for 10 hours or something.
Then someone had it checked out for 30 minutes after that. So.
Yeah, I mean, come on, people, why are you keeping MLEM for 10 hours when you're only really supposed to have those new games checked out for 4 hours?
Yeah.
So that was my beef that I had at BGGCon. But do you have anything else to talk about MLEM?
So, MLEM is really fun. You're trying to get as high as you can, and there's different cats that want different things. But one major point that I want to put out is that we're getting the game.
Then we played the same game because we thought that was a funny sounding game, right?
Yeah, we made fun of the name by saying different phrases for it. Oh, is this the same game that we played earlier?
Yeah, the same game is by Pegasus Spiel and Wolfgang Warsch. It kind of felt a little to me like Wavelength. So it had some cool components. It had these little cups, and then it had these little numbers, and there was these different categories. And basically everyone got a card, right?
Yeah.
And then
we
randomly pulled a number out of the bag and wrote it down secretly.
Then there were numbers that got put on these categories, and we wrote down something that has to do with that card that we drew, which is like a random thing, but has to do with the category about that. So like
right. So
like let's say bicycle and appearance, like metal.
Right, except for you have to try to get people to not
guess your
not
thing.
Guess the category number that you had.
So people are trying to flip over the number, and you put the cups over the numbers, and the trap you flip over. So then people just have to like turn over the cup to see if they got it right.
Right. It's really confusing to explain. We all kind of got it though, and you understood what was going on.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I would play that one again. It was an interesting game. You played 2 rounds, and then it's a cooperative game, so you see how you did. And everyone gets to try to do their own word, right? And then basically you go along and you're trying to pick which category you think the word they wrote doesn't match the card. And so you keep going, and then hopefully you get all of them but the trap. And then however many you get to put the cups out there, and then that gives you points to move around the board, and you're trying to get to this last spot on the board, right?
You're working together.
Then we played a silly little game called Kitty Paw. Game of the con for me right there.
It was... it scammed me, first of all. It looked like there was going to be cubes on the back of the box that looked like little kitties. They were just tiles that looked like cubes.
Right. But they were double-sided, and it's like a real-time...
You grab a card, it says how many points on it, and it shows a picture. You need to make that picture. And like the one side's sleeping and one side's awake, and you need to put them in certain places, and then everyone else, then you go kitty paw, then everyone else is to high five you. Even if they're not done. If you're done, then you do kitty paw, and you say kitty paw. Everyone has to say kitty paw and high five you. And like there's different difficulties. One difficulty is they're all on the same side. 2 difficulty is where they're like different sides. And 3 difficulty, you had to stack them so they look 3D.
Yeah, that one was wild.
I couldn't get it.
Right.
Moving on.
Then we played one of my favorite games at the convention, which is Captain Flip.
We actually have that right here at the table.
I did buy it on Amazon, and it was on my front porch by the time we got home.
Yeah, we have it. We have it on the table right now, actually.
Our good friend David Dugas brought this one out and taught us how to play it, and you can get going in about 1 minute. It is a game where you're trying to pull a token out of a bag. Don't look at the other side of it, though. And then if you don't like the token that you're looking at, you can flip it over, but you have to keep that side. And then you have to put it on one of the bottom columns of the board.
Yep.
And there's multiple boards.
And there's a Kraken board, there's a Forgotten Island board, and there's a Raft board.
Yep, and all the characters either give you money, which is points right away, or there's endgame points. But I liked all the combos. There's like a monkey that can flip a tile, and then you do the ability of the thing you flipped.
Gunners give you 5 points, but if you have 3 gunners, you can't win the game. But if you get, but you're still in the game, because if you get a monkey, you can flip over one of your gunners if it's adjacent to one of the gunners, and you still have a chance.
Yeah, so we really liked Captain Flip. It's a good one that you can just pull out with anybody, and you're done in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then we played some Tumblin Dice, which you found out we do have a copy of Tumblin Dice.
Tumblin Dice is actually very fun. It's this dexterity game where you're rolling 1 dice at a time down this thing, and there's like multipliers. the multipliers multiply the point. So how many ever like those little dots on the dice have, you multiply it at the end to how many, you multiply it to how many pecks are on the dice.
Yep, and I think you play 3 or 4 rounds and
Yep.
you add up all your scores. So it's a good one to teach some multiplication to the kids, and it's fun because you get to try to knock other people's dice off, and it can play really as many people as you have sets of dice. So I think we have like 8 sets of different colored D6s that you can play with. I think our thing also has an expansion in air quotes where I think it has like a D8 in there too, or maybe like some bigger numbered dice, so you have a chance to get some higher multipliers, which is kind of fun.
Oh, we have that? Well, they didn't have that.
Yeah. Then we played some Dodos riding dinos.
We got at the table right now too. It came today.
Yep, this one was another one that I had to have. I do
Shout out to David Dugas because he was the one who showed us this too.
Right, and I do a lot of game nights that I host and run at events, and this is another one that I can have out on the table, and it can play up to 6 people, and it can play quickly, and it's easy to teach in about a couple of minutes. So I thought this would be, between this and Captain Flip, those 2 are going to be great for the events that I'm going to be doing soon.
Yep.
The publisher for Dodos Riding Dinos is Detestable Games, and in this one you have these really cool looking dinos. This was a Kickstarter, I believe, but I think the retail copy is exactly the same as the Kickstarter.
I would like to say something about it.
Yeah.
It's basically Mario Kart, the game.
What kind of is? It has all these like little wooden pieces.
Yeah, that you get to like throw different ways depending on what card you played, and there's also there's different dinos that do different things. There's 3 velociraptors that move slower than the rest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so asymmetrical powers, which is cool. And then when you play a card, there's blue and red cards, and if you're the only one to play the red card, you get to move and do the red card ability.
But if somebody else does the red card too, both of you are only allowed to do the sad little movement.
Yep, and it's just like it made me think of Broom Service, because there, if you say you're the Brave Witch and somebody else plays the same kind of card as you had just played, you don't get to do it. So it kind of has that in it, and it's super fast, super fun. You can like throw bananas at other people. It's got like little dexterity elements to it.
May I say that one of the boards is like a volcano island. There's a long track and a short track. And then the other side, there's inside the volcano, there's a short track and a long track. Then there's an ice map where there's a short track and a long track. Then there's an outer space track. It's really cool because you can like see the island down below the outer space. And I'm pretty sure there's only a long track on that one.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't know there was 4 different tracks inside that box.
Because when we got to Board Game Geek, they didn't have that. They didn't have the other.
Then we played some Indiana Jones Sands of Adventure,
Yeah.
which I've had for quite a while. This is my copy that I took down there. I took a couple things I wanted to play that we've never played.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to play with, it was you and me, and we just had some random guy come join us, right?
Yeah.
And in this one, there's like a strategic planning, move around your guy and get cards and get ready for the super fast-paced kill the boss round.
And the first round I wasn't so careful, and you roll these dice every time you go to a place that have different things on them. One's move the boss, one's put a big crystal in, one's put a small crystal in, and one put 2 small crystals in. And you put them in this bucket, and when it spins over, the fast boss round starts.
Yeah, because it basically tips it over and it tips the sand timer over.
You have to do this careful. My first time, I didn't listen, and I dropped in a big one, and the boss round started. I took my turn first, so nobody else got a chance, so we just had to go to the boss round right away.
Yeah, we almost beat him.
Yeah.
So the card playing is interesting. There's a color or an item on every card.
And it's very hard to beat
And basically,
the boss.
you have to match the color or the item every time you're playing. So it's a lot of talking and like cooperating on, okay, I have this attack card. It's this color or this symbol. Who can get me there? And you go around, like if it's not your turn, you just need to draw cards. It's super fast paced. We got to the third boss. the first 2 bosses, you can't lose the game. You just make it harder for the next round.
But the final
So
boss...
we kind of got put behind because we didn't get any turns in round 1.
And the final boss...
If you don't beat the final boss, you just lose.
Also, it's actually pretty hard to beat bosses, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's by Prospero Hall and Funko Games. I think I got this at Target.
And you can even... And there's even special cards that show, like, with them with weapons. And... You hit a guy with a chair. How's that not strong? It only does 1 damage.
You're right. I then taught, I think you went off and did something else, and I taught Amy and Dave Cascadero. Oh, you were playing Werewolf at this time. I'll let you talk about Werewolf in a minute.
Yes.
But
with my moment with Beau. With my moment with... Wait, my Beaument with Mo. On my Beaument with Mo will be coming shortly.
Okay, and I've talked about this one a little bit before, but Reiner Knizia, Ian O'Toole art, Bitewing Games, completely killing it. I love this game. It's really easy to play. All the rules are kind of on the board with icons. You're basically putting envoys out on the board and trying to move up these colored tracks, and you have to get to the top of your colored track to be able to win, or there's 50 points. When somebody gets to 50 points, that ends the game, or if somebody can't play an envoy, that gets the game. And then there's like little bonuses you get for going up the tracks. I want to play with the other side of the board. It has these farmers tiles that you can go ahead and like put your guys on the farmer tile. I have not played that side yet, but I would say Cascadero is definitely worth a look.
One thing that I may know, if you don't like Cascadero and you think it's a little too heavy for you, try Cascadero. It's a roll and write version.
That's true. You haven't tried either of them.
Nope.
You want to try Cascadero first?
Yes.
Yeah, and Cascadero is the nicer one because you're all playing your own game there. With Cascadero, it's a little cutthroat. Okay, Beaument with Mo. Why don't you tell me about Werewolf?
Welcome to the Beaument with Mo. First, we will speak about Werewolf. Then we will speak about 2 games we demoed. Okay. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is Werewolf. The first time I was a werewolf, me and one of the werewolves kind of teamed up, and like we were just talking in secret, me and them. I got pretty far, because whenever a werewolf got eliminated, I cheered, and sometimes I voted for other werewolves just to get them off. But most of the time when I voted for other werewolves, they got voted out, so they didn't come for me.
Oh, so you were playing like the anti-hero a little bit there.
Yep. By the time I died, it was just me and the person I was working with. And then she died and the villagers won. So that was fun. There was this other person that I was friends with. I told him I was the werewolf, and he told me he was the villager. So he trusted me not to kill him. I killed him on the first round.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. So that happened. Now I would like to talk about Little Alchemists. My dad will help me talk about it.
Yeah, so the first thing we did when the vendor hall opened was stop at the CGE booth, and they had their 2 new games, one coming in Gen Con, which is Little Alchemists, and the other one coming out at Essen, which is SETI, which has this really cool looking turnable board.
But then again, we're not talking about that.
That's true. I'm just saying that I think at Gen Con we're going to get to actually demo and try that one out. But we found out that they had availability for demo games, and I signed up for an event for your mom, you, and I.
Yeah, for Little Alchemists.
Yep, and Little Alchemists, we've talked about... Little Alchemists is the kid-friendly version of Alchemists. We've talked about Alchemists on the podcast before. It's one of our favorite games. And Little Alchemists will be coming out at Gen Con. And it has 7 levels of difficulty. And we played levels 2 and 4. And by difficulty, I mean it starts to add more and more and more to the game. And I guess by the time you get to level 7, you're ready to do Alchemist, the big game deduction.
So basically, the Alchemists is level 8.
Yeah, I mean, you would just move on to Alchemist.
Level 1 is you're making potions and selling potions. You have your little thing, you have your little hidey thing, and behind it you have this board. The phone app is used. You put these two in these little you put 2 ingredients that you have behind your thing. You have 3 ingredients. You mix them together.
And there are tiles in this game, whereas there are cards in the other game.
You put them in little slots. You scan them on the phone, and you click it. You share what potion you made, and you get a token of that potion. You put it on the intersecting lines between the 2 ingredients. On the first one, you're just trying to discover your board and sell them to people. People will buy multiple things. But your first thing, you do not sell. But after that, your first discovery you don't sell. But as you make more of that potion from those 2 ingredients, then you may sell them. Round 2 is basically the same. The second one's basically the same, except you're publishing.
Are you talking? Oh, you're talking. So that was round 2. You're talking about.
Well, no, the first one I was
level
talking
2.
about. At first, I was talking about level 1, but then I'm talking about level 2.
We didn't do level 1.
They told me what level 1 is.
Oh, okay.
You're just making potions and selling them. And then level 2 adds in I don't remember.
Well, level 4, level 4, that was where we got to deduce and publish theories on what potions or what ingredients made what potions.
You published theories in level 2.
No, that was level 4. That was the second game.
In level 4, you get pets.
Yeah.
And the pets will pay you for certain potions. So, and if you get something that someone already has, the storyline is your parents let you pick out any pet. So,
yeah, and our games were 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
I think we played we demoed both of them in an hour.
On the next one, you're on the one I was talking about. There's a couple different potions. You need 3 ingredients that you know. So you need 1 ingredient that you know can make 3 different potions, and you could write a theory about it. Everyone else has to guess what ingredient can make all 3 of those potions. If they do, they get a coin. But you earn a gem if you do it.
You're right, and those are points,
Yep.
right? Oh, and money is also points.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm excited to pick this up. I think it'll be fun.
We're going to pick it up on Gen Con.
Since Alchemists is one of my favorite games, I think it'll be fun to play through this with Beau, and then maybe when he gets a little bit older, we can try the real game.
Yep. Well, why are you calling it the real game? This is a real game, too.
That's true. Okay, the big game.
The more advanced game.
Yeah.
Yes. So now we would like to talk about a very, very exciting thing.
Okay, this is probably your game of the con, right?
It is called Amoebunnies.
It's Amoebunnies.
Amoebunnies, yes. So
What?
can I tell the lore first?
Sure, but what drew you to this?
The cute little blob things. I just walked by the stand. There was a stand for it. I walked by the stand. There was this cute pictures of these little blob guys with little bunny ears. That's literally what drew me to it.
Okay.
Pictures of cute little guys with bunny ears. So we played it with a random person, me, my mom, and my dad, and a random person. So the different characters are completely by themselves. They're against each other. They're different colors, and they all have their own objectives. They all move differently. They're all different.
Yep, so this is a completely asymmetrical game for every character. Yep. Think of Kitty Root, kind of.
I played as Cam, which is an orange one. My dad played as Midori, which is the green one.
Yep.
My mom played as Roy, which is the red one. And the random person played as Sunil, which is the blue one, which is the hardest. So I played as Cam. The lore for Cam is that when the Amoebunnies dropped, so the Amoebunnies were clear, and they kept dropping from the sky to let rain come down and evaporating back up. But one day there's a rainbow, which colored some of them, and when they dropped down, they couldn't come back up. Cam, however, splatted into a ton of tiny versions of himself. his goal in the game is to move his little. So basically, the more guys you have merged, your biggest stack is has this little chart, and your biggest stack makes you move more, basically, and you can move for free, but you have to play a card in the color of the connecting bridge if you want to merge. Your goal is to get all your cams in a stack, and that's how you win.
Yeah, and like I was trying to move on paths to flip over these rainbow tiles, and once I completed a whole rainbow, I could flip one of my rainbow tiles over on the board and then go pick it up, and I needed 3 of those. And your mom had to go find certain items and go deliver them to the animals.
And Sunil had to find colors for his palette.
Yeah. This game looked...
And there's a lot of more characters.
This game, when you walked by the booth, you're like, oh, look at this cute little colorful kids game. And, man, there's a lot more going on in this one.
It is not a cute little colorful kids game. It is a serious, exciting game. And every time you played, you got a pin of your character. I played 3 times. For the first time, I played as Cam. Then I played as Violet. She's really cool. She was trying to do experiments, and she needed to do 6 experiments and get all 5 colors.
Yeah, so this is Amoebunnies, and it is by Wrong Cauldron LLC. And they told us that this game was going to be on Kickstarter August 27th of 2024. So a couple months from now.
Also,
we can check it out.
At their stand, I played 3 times, and they had this thing called the 3-button rule. If you had 3 different character buttons, you got all the buttons. Now on my lanyard upstairs, I have this mustache from a mustache stand on the thing, and I have all of the characters' pins in rainbow order on my thing.
Well, that was an exciting Beaument with Mo. I have a couple more games to talk about. One is Raw, which I think it's the old Reiner Knizia game. I taught David and his wife, and we chanted Raw a lot and had some good fun with that. I love the newer version of this. The pieces are so great. I think I'm going to take this one also to the convention that I run a game night at. I think it'll be a good one for that. And Skyrise, man, I may also take Skyrise just because it looks so cool on the table. The auction, it's an auction game with buildings, and when you're done playing that game, even with the basic game, I think
Dad,
it
you're
looks
doing
cool
a
on the
game night?
table.
We have tons of party games, and you know it.
That's true.
We have that sitting on the table over there. We have an entire... all of the games by Exploding Kittens are party games.
Yeah.
And we have almost the entire collection of them.
That's true. The next morning, we played a game called Star Wars Bounty Hunters.
It was really fun.
Which I decided to pick up from one of the booths there. Mainly because I like Star Wars, and they said they had 2 play mats left to go with the game. It was promos.
It was me, my dad, a random kid, and Tom Vasel from the Dice Tower.
Yeah, you didn't know who he was, did you?
No.
My moment of the con was having Beau just talk his ear off and then tell him that, his dad does a cool podcast when he's probably one of the bigger board game reviewers around. I thought it was really cute, really funny. I didn't say anything. I just let him kind of talk to him, and it was great. So I taught Star Wars Bounty Hunters because we had played it. I had played it the night before with Dave Dugas, 2-player. This game plays 2 to 6, I think. Mm-hmm. It's in a real small box, real cheap price point. If you like Star Wars, the game plays simultaneously. I was pleasantly surprised by this one.
Yeah, you basically play down a card. There's bounties, there's droids, and there's and there's bounty hunters. Bounty hunters minus your points on the bounties, but you need to match the numbers. So you're trying to connect them up, and you play a card. You pass your hand to the next person. The person next to you gives them your hand, and you just keep doing that over and over. I had 2 decks in front of my dad, and I was on my 3rd deck.
I know, but who won the game? Because I took my time to figure out what I was trying to do.
You.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you can play the bounty hunters for free, but they make you have less points. And you can play the droids, but they cost credits. But you have to spend a turn to discard a card to get credits. So you could discard cards that you think other people want and get money.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of hate drafting there. There's just so many of every card, though. It's fun hunting Grogu and Chewbacca.
Grogu's sad when you hunt him.
Yeah, and I thought the art was neat in this, and it's got a lot of the extended universe stuff. A lot of the cartoons, Rebels was in there. Clone Wars, I think.
Oh, what's her name from the Clone Wars? That little girl. That was one of the bounties. The little girl from.
Oh, Echo from Bad Batch is on there.
Yeah, she's one of the bounties.
Yeah, and so you score your points by whoever gets 4 bounties first triggers the end of the game. Your bounties are worth points. Your bounty hunters are minus points. You get points from getting these little crate things. For batteries?
At the end of the game, I had so many bounty hunters on my targets that all my targets were worth 1 or 2 points.
You triggered the end of the game, though.
Yeah, I did.
So you didn't score any points.
Yeah. Well, I scored 7 points.
So yeah, that's the whole game. It's really easy to teach. You're just trying to basically match the bounties numbers. There's a blue, a red, and a green number. And then each of the bounty hunters and droids have different values for those numbers, and you just need them to equal the bounty. All right. We then played Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom. This one's by Cosmos. It's a co-op game. I don't like it as much as the original Lord of the Rings co-op, but I thought it was fun. It
was fine. I lost the game for us.
Yeah, well, we didn't really realize at the beginning. Well, then you actually realized that you then did it again. But you ran the Fellowship guys, Frodo and Sam, way out in front of everybody. And when they're out there, when you roll the dice for fighting, you have way less sides of the dice to win the battles.
Yeah.
And that just brings the ring down, and when the ring gets to the bottom, you lose. So you're trying to bring all 5 of the characters kind of up together, and you kind of want to keep the ring in the back. But you're also up against the clock of you could just have a war of attrition if you wait too long. There's allies you can get that help you. More often than not, though, you get the bad stuff. And then I guess when you finally you play through the acts of the game.
For some reason.
So there's 6 different decks of cards.
For some reason, I never saw a golem card or anything.
Well, we didn't get to the end.
Oh yeah.
So the last when you get to Mordor, it sounds like the game kind of changes a little bit, but we didn't read those rules because we were waiting until we got to Mordor to learn that part.
Yeah, and we never got to Mordor.
Anyway, this was on my list to maybe get someday. I don't know. I probably won't pick it up, but I would definitely play it again if I found it somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
Check it out of the library.
I'll do it with you.
I then taught a game of Djinn, Dginn,
to my mom.
Yep, and
I was doing something else.
That's true, and she really liked it, so I'm happy about that because we own it. We've done an episode on it.
Oh, actually, I think I was playing Amoebunnies.
You definitely were. Then we played some more Everdell Farshore.
Yep.
And some more Captain Flip. And we also played a new Marvel United game called Spidergeddon that had all the different Spider-Men in it. And that was pretty cool. We got to play with a random kid there, too.
Yep.
I really thought BGG Spring was cool because there's a lot more families there. And I played with a lot more people that I did not know than I normally would.
I like playing with people that I have no idea who the heck they are.
Yeah, and he knew how to play Marvel United pretty well. He had played it frequently before.
I have.
Yeah, did you like the Spidergeddon? I thought it was cool.
Yep.
Then Dave Dugas brought me a game that I had seen at Dungeons Gate a few times called Emerge. And this game was pretty fun. It was wild. It has I can't believe its rating is a 6.9 on BGG. Come on, people. You guys need to give this game a little more love. Emerges by Pandasaurus. Long story short...
Oh, wasn't that sea creature game you were playing?
Yeah, you roll dice, and then your dice, depending what number they go to a certain action. And you try to... Basically, you're trying to grow these islands out of the ocean up to 3 levels high, and you're trying to get all these different kinds of meeples on it. You start with a tree, and then you can add a crab, and then you can add a turtle, then you can add a sea lion, and then you can attract birds, which will put more trees on there. And you can have up to 4 trees and 1 of every other animal, but they have to be put on that island in that order. At the end of the game, you multiply how many meeples you have on the island times how many tiles there were. You play over like 8 rounds.
I like animals, so I think I'd like it.
Yeah, it was fairly simple to teach. Like once you knew the game, I think you could teach this to a lot of people. That has really nice table presence. The board is super long.
I could probably play any game if I had the patience to learn it.
That is also true. So Emerge, give us a chance, people. It is, I think, a hidden gem out there. It was really fun. Then we already talked about Little Alchemists. We did that. More Captain Flip.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this game, you can just like pull it out when you have a little bit of time to do it.
Then at 9 around, I was supposed to go to bed, but then I was sort of having a meltdown because they wouldn't let me play MLEM with them. So I told my mom that I really wanted to play it, and she let me go downstairs to play it with them. Someone had it checked out for 10 hours. Then someone had it checked out for 30 minutes after that. So we just played another game of Captain Flip.
That's true. That was supposed to be MLEM, wasn't it? And it just wasn't. So we're just going to have to wait for our copy to get here.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can get somebody to bring it to Dungeons Gate on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Now that school's out, right?
Yeah.
Then I played a game I taught, Anunnaki Dawn of the Gods. This is my last game of the night and the con.
Never heard of it.
Went really late. We did an episode on this one too. Still really like this game. 3 players was great. It's tough as being a person that's played it half a dozen times against new people. There's pretty big disparity in points and score. I still think it has a little bit of the biggest problem with Anunnaki, I think, is figuring out how exactly to score your points. But I really like the puzzle of figuring out which tracks to bang up to get to the top, and then what to do that to get your multipliers out.
I just wanted to say before that and after we played and before we were going to play MLEM, but we had to play Captain Flip, we played a game of Thunder Road Vendetta.
We played Thunder Road twice, both at 5 players, right?
And both it was the first time I think I got wiped out, and then you guys kept going. The second time, I've never seen this happen a lot. We got on our 4th tile.
Yeah, it's true. With 5 players, we made it to the 4th tile.
And on the 4th tile, it was kind of impossible.
And we played this with one of our patrons, Andre, good friend of the podcast.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, and his 2 sons. And man, it was crazy. One of them got to play the big rig. Yeah, the big rig's fun.
Yeah,
the rest of us played cars, but we threw in some weather conditions.
Yeah, and we threw in some characters.
New. And we played characters, yep.
One of the people were Bouncy the Clown or something. He got to control all of his bumps, literally. So, and the kid was pretty
aggressive.
So, even if he got bumped into a good space, he would say, "No, change it." Then he would almost die.
And Beau's favorite way to play Thunder Road is hitting every single
danger token.
Yeah, hitting all those danger things.
And at that game, I hit 1 colossal pit. I rolled the dice. I got, this is my big car. I got saved. I hit another colossal pit. This is my big car. I rolled the dice. I got saved.
Yeah, and the big cars are the easiest to hit, and we just could not shoot you.
Yeah.
Your big car was like indestructible. It was pretty funny.
You couldn't hit it.
But the game came down to some craziness. Like, it ended up having almost everyone get eliminated. I think you and I were the last ones left with 1 car.
Yeah.
And I was actually on fire. And I had to roll to get off the board and not blow up, and I was able to do it.
Yep.
But you almost won just from being the last man standing, which is crazy. So I think we're pretty pumped for the new expansion that we backed on Kickstarter with the battle mode.
There's going to be a new arena mode. You're going to be in like the circle arena. You can't keep going. It's not like a road. You're just trying to kill each other to the death.
Yep, that sounds right up your alley, right?
Kill each other to the death. That is an improper phrase.
All right, well, why don't we talk about what are your top 3
games that I played?
Sure. Why don't you how about this? What were your favorite 3 things we did not gaming at the convention?
First,
or just the whole trip in general?
At number Sitting right there in number 3 was taking that nap on the first day. Sitting right there in number 2 is Bucky's. Yeah. Sitting right there in number 3 is going through the vendor. Wait, no.
Oh, yeah?
Wait, no, I mean, no. Number 3 is taking that nap. Number 2 is going to Bucky's. And number 3 is from going through the vendor hall. Mostly because a lot of games there were fun. And I'm talking about Amoebunnies. I'm counting that as in the vendor hall, and I'm counting us playing Little Alchemists as in the vendor hall.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to count those in your top 3 games because those aren't out yet? Those are just experiences?
No, they're in my top 3 games.
One of my favorite things, on top of what you said, was doing the mini painting. It made me want to actually get some minis out and do some painting. I just always think it's a good idea, and then I never get it done. So my goal is to think of a game that I think would be easy to paint with a few miniatures and just do it.
Here's one of my tips for painting. If you mess up with the color red, make it bloody.
All right, let's do top 3 games of the con that we haven't played before. These are brand new to us games, because I played a lot of games that I'd played before. Yep. So we're going to do top 3 brand new games. Beau, I'm going to guess yours, and you're going to try to guess mine, right?
Okay, you guess mine first.
I think Little Alchemists, Amoebunnies, and...
Can you guess what place they are in?
No.
Okay, just guess what place they're in, though.
Okay. I would guess number 1 is Amoebunnies for sure. Number 2 is Little Alchemists. And then I would say, but you really liked MLEM. MLEM is number 3.
Ring-a-ding-ding-ding-a-ding.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right, Beau, go ahead and guess my 3.
Captain Flip is one of them.
Okay, what else?
Those Riding Dinos is one of them.
Nope.
MLEM is one of them?
I've played MLEM before.
Well, I didn't know that. That's not helpful. That weird water island game.
Yep, Emerge.
Yep. And Bounty Hunters.
Ooh, I think my favorites, were Everdell, Farshore, Captain Flip, and Emerge.
You already did 3. That can't be fair.
Yeah, those are my 3. Everdell, Farshore, Captain Flip, Emerge were my top 3.
Wow, was I supposed to know that? How'd you know mine's so easy?
Because you keep talking about them over and over again. Well, in a couple months, we're going to be headed to a larger game convention called Gen Con.
I don't like tight spaces.
In Indianapolis. Yeah, you went to the board game bazaar there, and there was too many people there for you, wasn't there?
Yeah, so me and my mom went to sit at a table, then we finished Lord of the Rings, and then I went to play Amiibo.
Yeah, so Gen Con will be an interesting endeavor, although... There is a booth for necromolds, which I know is up your alley.
I'm gonna get the starter set. I want to get the weapons pack, and I want to get a couple of the other character packs.
Well, you better start doing some work around.
I don't have money.
So we'll do a recap of Gen Con when that comes around, but until next time,
we hope you like board games. Add theme music here.